This weekend, today, tomorrow, we're going to have central bankers from around the world, and it's not a policy-making meeting, but they're going to be talking about how they can just keep the economy ticking along.
Right. That whether whether their quantitative easing was a good plan or not, right, John?
Right. Time to maybe buy more bonds.
Yeah, one of the things you need to do to get into the meeting is love Don Cohn. It's kind of the side story to this is. So they're having a meeting with all these central bankers from all over the world to talk about economic policy. It's also going to be a love-in for Don Cohn, who's the former vice chairman for the Fed, who retired about a year and a half ago. Bernanke is talking today. I suspect he's going to spend a lot of his time saying what a great guy Don Cohn was.
So, John,
so that could have gotten you guys invited.
John, so he's not going to be saying what a great guy you are? I thought this was John Hilsenrath love-in.
No, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
What about, there's
important subtext to all this. You've got some of the most powerful central bankers in the world here, and they've it's kind of like a Jackson Hole without the beautiful vistas. They're going to be talking about the different policies they've enacted. The main one they're going to be talking about today is quantitative easing. Ben Bernanke's co-author back from his academic days, a guy named Mark Gertler from NYU, is giving a paper trying to incorporate quantitative easing kind of from a model perspective into the Fed's kind of regular toolkit.
Is it, John, do you think it's a little too early to determine whether quantitative easing has been successful or not yet?
Well, I think we're going to be arguing about that for years and years, but you kind of have to start trying to make some assessments because the Fed might decide to do it again. They've got to decide if it's working because if the economy slows down, it might be another thing they decide to do. There's a really interesting split in the world right now. I think if you talk to most academics, they see a lot of benefits to it, some costs, but I think most of them would say the benefits outweigh the costs. If you talk to guys on Wall Street, it's like it sets their hair on fire. A lot of people think, that it's a terrible policy that's causing inflation, pushing up commodities prices, and hurting. Also, frankly, if you go to most people on Congress, they would say the same thing, hurting the well-being of the average American. So you have a real split between what the theorists say and what the man on the street, Wall Street and Main Street, says.
John, will there be the potential for any clues in this conference for the market to be watching as to how likely the Fed is or will or won't be to engage in more bond buying going down the road?
I think we, when I say we, I say, in the media and in the markets tend to kind of overemphasize the clues that get sent at some of these things. I don't think they're going to be major clues. I think there'll be a lot of discussion, but this isn't the setting that Ben Bernanke would want to use. They've made very clear that they're watching the economy just like the rest of us. They're not sure where the economy is going right now. They're not going to make a decision about whether to do more QE. Until they see
John,
whether
as you're speaking, just so our readers know, we're right now, as you're talking, John, we have a graph on screen showing the size of the Fed and the European Central Bank's balance sheet relative to their respective economies. Sorry, keep going.
Hey, can I make one other point, which I think is kind of important and interesting and worth making, which is that, the Fed here spends a lot of kind of mental power and mental time, and other central bankers do, kind of really talking about these policies that they're enacting, whether they work, whether the theory works, whether the data and the evidence supports it. There's a lot of energy that goes into analyzing and debating this stuff. I think it stands in such stark contrast to the way fiscal policy is made in this country, which is completely ad hoc, totally political. And, you never see lawmakers, for instance, sitting down and talking about the economic theory of fiscal policy and how to conduct it, and spending a lot of time examining, in really hard ways, the evidence. I think there's something to be said, whether you agree or disagree with what the Fed is doing, at least they're trying to be serious about it. In Capitol Hill, they're not even trying on fiscal policy.
Well, I think, John, that's a sentiment most Americans would agree with, whether or not they agree with the Fed.